Hello and welcome along to the Where's My Kit Bag podcast here, recording from the joys of the Sixth Form College, Farnborough. Hosted by the three lovely technicians, myself, James.
Me, Will.
And me, Steve.
Now, for eagle-eared listeners, you might have noticed that we didn't have an episode last week. Because it was half term. Or reading week. Whichever one you want to call it these days. So sad. However, we're back.
Hey.
Yeah!
Woo!
And we've got more jingles.
Yes.
Oh no. Including my brand new favourite one.
Welcome back.
Excellent.
We made it.
Some crowd applause and cheer. Like per always, this is the Where's My Kit Bag podcast. Kicking us off with the first feature is the what video has come out on our TechNet YouTube page this week. Steve, tell me more.
Well,
In fact, hang on. Let's properly introduce this.
Sorry.
Let's
I'll
get the
hold
proper
fire.
introduction here.
The Steve Kale TechNet Video Award.
Hey, that's coming up in a moment. But
Oh yeah.
so Monday's video was have you ever wanted to book the studio, as in the space we're in now, or Studio 1 or Studio 2? You can do that now. Well, you could have done it the whole time before. However, we can show you how to do that via TechNet, as that video dropped on Monday. Thanks to our Will Devereaux. Lovely studio booking tutorial, which is out. Next week is going to be a exporting video. And yeah, we're just trying to get some videos out that are very much needed. They've been in the pipeline for a while, but there's things that students ask us on a weekly basis. But we'll get those out. So yeah, that's what you can expect up on the channel now and up on the channel on Monday. Nice.
I've got one in the pipeline which I might be making tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
I know it was the need was there, and I went, shall I just make this a video? The entire team went, yes. Do this now. So there will be a video all about how to make animatics.
Hey.
Everyone's favourite thing
right.
from last year is coming back with a vengeance. So I'll be doing a sort of like tutorial-y video thing. I'll try and make it as fun as I can, because it can be a bit of a dry topic at times. Do this button, now press this button, now do this. So I'm going to try and make it as fun as I can, hopefully. I might even animatic myself.
Nice.
Making the video,
That'd be good.
which could
That's a
be
good idea.
a big undertaking.
Full meta.
But so it's so meta it's become full animatic. But that one will hopefully drop next week at some point to obviously help you with your coursework. That's the aim anyway.
Very cool.
Nice. I thought so too. Otherwise, tech news, Mr. Will Devereaux. We've got some exciting newses.
Well, actually, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh
Steve,
please. Pause.
Steve actually
pause.
had one more
I
thing
feel like
to
it-
mention
I
here.
feel like it's a privilege kind of opening tech news, kind of. Well, it's kind of not
Actually,
really.
yeah.
It is kind of tech news, but it's like internal tech news. So, I have been given the duty of kind of revamping's not the word, just having a bit of a surge of social media across the department. And we have started a Instagram and a Twitter at F6 Media Film. And the reason I've introduced that first rather than what we have listed on our social schedule is because on both Instagram and Twitter, you can find a link to our TechNet Choice competition. And the TechNet Choice competition is basically, if you on Instagram only, use the hashtag TechNet Choice, whether that be just going onto all your old posts, editing it and adding TechNet Choice, or commenting on your own photos only. It doesn't work if you comment on your friends. Commenting the hashtag TechNet Choice, you'll be in with a chance of being featured on our F6 Media Film page, which is great. You'll get a TechNet Eye lanyard badge for your week's winnings, and as I said, you get featured on the page, which is great. And you get automatically shortlisted for the TechNet Choice of the Year award, and you might win your very own Oscar at awards night. So yeah, it gets a bit more interaction with students. Means you kind of get a bit of a spotlight for the week, which is great. It means you get your work that you're working on outside of college out there. The only kind of requirements is as long as it fits Instagram's regulations, and you're all good. So it doesn't have to be just photos or video. If you've made a bit of music, maybe you're working on a website or you've done some cool graphics. As long as it fits in Instagram's regulations and you use the hashtag TechNetChoice, you're in with a chance. And each and every Wednesday around lunchtime, it will get posted on the page, and you get a little shout out. So yeah, that's TechNet Choice. Feel free.
Nice.
I think what's quite nice about it, we want to encourage people to post, not coursework and stuff like that. We've all seen that. Enough of that. We've
all seen that.
Yeah, we've all seen a bit of that. We want to encourage people to post stuff they do outside of college, so stuff they might be taking as a hobby or stuff they're doing as their own little business, promote it. And like Steve said, it gets featured, it just gets your name out there a bit more.
Absolutely. And this is stuff that you can be credited for as well, which is great. I mean, in regards to content, even if you think, I've just taken the dog out for a walk and I've got this lovely landscape, that still counts. It's still an art form. It's still good, even if you haven't done it as a specific focal point of a hobby. If you've got some interesting content, share it with us. There's no harm in it. And as I said, it takes under 10 seconds, especially the amount of time students and myself spend on Instagram. Just comment on your own post or edit the post and add hashtag TechNet Choice. Yes, love that. Nice.
We could be applauding you, is the answer. So going alongside what Steve's saying, we've got our Instagram account, which is...
at F6 Media Film.
What else do we have now? A Twitter?
Yes. So we've rebranded the Twitter slightly. It used to be the film page. So if you were already following the film page, you may see at F6 Media Film coming up. They're not necessarily... They are links, but... if you're not on Instagram or you're exclusively on Twitter, give at F6 Media Film a follow, and you'll be up to date with all of the same content that's on Instagram. So we're on there. So any news, any department updates, etc. Obviously, it will go through Google Classroom and you'll be emailed, but through social media, we'll update you on there as well with anything that's any ongoings, etc. Links to podcasts, hint, hint, new videos that go up, anything. Any student spotlights, if anybody's doing anything great outside of college, etc., that we think they're worthy of a bit of a shout out, you get it on there. Just cool opportunities, just kind of keeping connected between student and department.
It's good stuff. And the tiny, tiny extra thing, if obviously you're listening to this on Spotify podcasts or SoundCloud or YouTube, you can also now listen to us on iTunes podcasts.
Woohoo!
Yeah!
We're everywhere.
Yes, so we are literally everywhere now. Subscribe in whichever format you so prefer.
Nice.
Lovely.
Yeah, look at that. Perfect. I should probably play Hype Train, but I didn't feel it was hype
that's
enough.
fine, no worries.
So, Will, now we've waffled enough into your bit.
Do we go into tech news now?
Now you can talk about tech to your heart's content.
Yes.
Go, Will, go.
Lovely. Well, this is obviously my favourite segment of the week. I mean, sorry, no.
What? What?
It's basically the time where I get to nerd out about geeky stuff. So
let's nerd with you.
So the first thing I wanted to talk about really quickly, Canon... Obviously, we all use Canon cameras at the department, so they're quite a close brand to us. They released a new full-frame mirrorless camera aimed at sort of introducing consumers to the full-frame market. Generally, full-frame cameras, you've been looking sort of £2,000 mark, really, just to get your kind of head in the game. But now they've released the Canon EOS RP, which is a budget-friendly full-frame. It's quite a small camera, so it's quite impressive. They put a full-frame sensor in it. £1,300 for the body only. I know that still sounds like a lot of money.
Ooh.
But to get full-frame quality of image, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty amazing. Really, really good for any photographers out there. The downside is the video features are so lacking that anybody with a DSLR at the moment, I don't think I'd really recommend it for if you're looking to do video. I know Steve had some thoughts on this. I'm going to ask him a question in a minute. Basically, it has got 4K. However, if you want to shoot in 4K, it does crop in, I think it's something like 1.7 times.
Oh.
Yeah, so,
Oh, that's not good.
That kind of defeats the purpose of using a full-frame camera. And you don't get to use the dual-pixel autofocus in 4K either, which is obviously what Canon are known for. And there's no 24 frames per second mode, only 30 in 1080p. And that has been causing uproar. People thought it was like a software error or something like that, but Canon have come out and said, no, this is intentional. Obviously, they're restricting this feature for some reason, not too sure why. Steve, I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on, I know you've got the Canon 80D as your own personal camera.
Yeah.
With this camera, I know you read a little bit into the RP.
Yep.
What's your kind of position on it? Is it making you tempted to go full frame, or are the features that's lacking too much of a
I think
deal breaker.
I think I'm not far off. I mean, the RP was, so you linked me. Is it Jared Pollins? Thronos Photos video. It's about half an hour long. He does a review on it. 15 to 18 minutes in, I'm like, this is my next camera. This looks incredible for the price range. This is spot on. Then, as you say, you get to the video section, which is kind of my, specialization, so to speak. And I had my heart ripped out. You could play one of those jingles of me being sad. I was genuinely like, oh, really? Because it looks so good. I really wanted to go full frame. It's in my price range. And one of the things we chatted about earlier is, what do I want to upgrade? What would I want to see from my 80D that would be better? And it would be 4K, you could say. I'm not too fussy on it. I want a full frame camera, primarily because my 50mm means I'm shooting at 80mm with my 1.6 crop. Kind of seems pointless with this RP, because even if I go up to 4K, I'm getting a 1.7 crop, which kind of seems pointless. And then I lose my dual pixel autofocus, so I can't get that on the fly focusing, which the 80D is incredible by. So if it added the 24p mode and then,
bumped up the frames per second a little bit,
etc., there would be no reason why I wouldn't look into it, because as you said, it looks really, really good. But for now, I have no choice but to stay as a filmmaker, to stay with my 80D as a DSLR. Unfortunately,
like we always say, innovations like this are really nice because it causes competition in the market. Does that mean Sony and Nikon are now going to think, they've made this super cheap full frame, let's just chuck our full frame in a body and just chuck in a few more features? I don't think you're ever going to see in-body stabilization at this price point.
That's fair.
Because I think the science behind it is just too much research to kind of chuck it in. But definitely higher frame rates and stuff. We get high frame rates on our mobiles, don't we? You can shoot up to like 120 quite comfortably.
Yeah, you get like the kind of hyperlapse, slow-mo kind
all
of
that
thing.
sort of stuff. Yeah, so I don't see there's any reason to restrict it.
I think that's the only thing I'm missing is I'd love maybe 100, 120 frames.
Everybody loves a bit of
slow-mo. Because I'm loving my slow-mo and some of the stuff I'm shooting for like clients in regards to product-based stuff. I'd love to slow it down that little bit more. But what you were saying about in-body stabilization, because I'm using the Phootech A2000 gimbal, very nicely recommended by Will, I've not needed any stabilization on either my lens or my camera. It's fantastic, and I was lucky enough to get it for £300, which was very, very lucky. I think it retails at 400, maybe 500.
Anyway, it kind of goes up and down.
It's very expensive, really? But that's the price you could pay for a cheap IS lens, or you're talking 4 digits for an IS body. And I think a good motorized gimbal, you kind of will save that money for a little while. Exactly. Yeah, so I'm hoping with, again, what you said, that this is going to then make another company go, so this has caused so much uproar. What if we release something with similar specs, add that 24p, we can sweep all those customers, i.e. me, and I'm going to be very happy. Under 1,500 for like, a nice Sony or something like that has some sort of EF mount, because that I think it's 1399, you get an EF adapter with it. It's really odd. I don't know why they throw it in, but they give you an adapter. Well, Wex Photo is the website I'm quoting. They give you an adapter.
I think it's part of their campaign.
I assume so,
yeah.
Which is great. So I'm like, wicked, I can use all my glass, as you were saying, with your glass and your Sony. It's it's a real head scratcher, I'll be honest.
Yeah, so it's one to keep an eye on. And also moving on, obviously there was quite a few phone announcements over the past week. I think the big one everybody's been talking about is obviously the folding phones. No, we're not talking about the old Razer flip phones.
Oh, those were the days. The Motorola Razer V3. Yes, I've still got it. It still works.
Those things were tanks, weren't they?
That thing.
They could go forever.
Could throw that down some stairs and that thing would still work.
So Samsung, I think, obviously kind of punched it out the park with their Samsung Fold, retailing, I think it was something like £1,800. The idea is that you've got a small display on the front, something similar to what a phone you'd have now-ish, and then it unfolds into sort of like a tablet size.
Yeah.
Big battery, massive screen, still OLED. I think a lot of people were quite surprised because it was still an OLED feature in the Samsung one. People are talking about, well, who's going to buy it? That's the question at the moment. But again, I think it falls under that category of it's innovation. It's nice to see. I think it's more going to be, is it doing more for us than what our phones are currently doing now? I don't think it's really going to allow that. It might allow more multitasking. I've got the Samsung S7 Edge, which is capable of doing like split screen multitasking. I don't think I've ever used it.
I use the multi-screen on the S9, but that's only to keep a YouTube video playing while I check like a notification. That's the only thing I do.
Yeah, the YouTube app is the most annoying app known to man.
We have to get premium now, don't you, to play it in the background?
Or the YouTube Music app.
But that's split screen, and then the occasional somebody sent me a list via WhatsApp, and I jump on my notes and make the list, etc., or I'll add to a list. But very minor things I could live without it. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So the big one of the big features they're saying, you can now multitask 3 apps.
Oh wow.
So I think that's it. Yeah. So
wow.
It's interesting the Fold, and then after that we're kind of like, okay, that's one big manufacturer, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, YouTube videos are popping up of loads of companies throwing out these phones. I think the most notable one is Huawei with the Mate X. So that retails for $2,660 for a phone.
Can someone just buy me a Z6 instead? Please, just anyone. I will take a Z6 for free. I'll just take it off your hands, save you some money.
They've got this thing called a Falcon Wing design, which you kind of
that sounds like it belongs on a car.
Still talking about phones.
Yeah. So you kind of have to look it up, but the idea is rather than the Samsung one, where they've kind of got like a small square for a screen on the front.
Yeah, it's kind of like a book, isn't it?
Yeah, this is borderless display almost. This is like edge to edge. It's pretty impressive. You can kind of see where the price in it. It's got 2 separate batteries in it to give it like 4,500 milliamp hours, so it can get, it's pretty good for charge. And it can charge up to max battery in 80% battery in 30 minutes, which is pretty cool too. Just interesting. Folding phones. I think it's sort of the first iteration. Maybe in a couple gens we might see obviously the price come down because there's going to be very few sort of sales. I think. And until, I don't want to say it, but until Apple...
Yeah.
until Apple take a move on this... There we go, that's better.
I can hear it now.
I don't think anybody's going to take it seriously.
Yeah.
I think, but hopefully Samsung, Huawei, they're the other 2 biggest competitors in the market right now. I think that's going to prompt Apple to do something in terms of foldable tech. Who knows? I have not seen any foldable screen from them whatsoever.
No, never.
Samsung's done TVs and stuff. Huawei's done loads. So yeah, interesting. I think half of me thinks Apple's just going to be like, no, this is a fad. We won't bother R&Ding it.
We'll just take another port off your phone.
Yeah.
You can't. You just have a one.
There's no screen now.
Yeah, you have a one-use battery. Oh, now you got to buy a new one.
Yeah.
I could very much see them doing that at some point. Yeah, you can't. Sorry, sir, you can't charge this.
But something I was reading into more along this event is that there's now 5G phones being sort of implemented. So the new Samsung S10 you can get as a 5G version. And that Huawei Mate X I was just talking about is also 5G. I was like, oh, 5G, oh, well, yeah,
5G is fast.
Yeah, you're kind of like, well, whatever. And then you look into it and you're like, whoa, this is, why can't I get this internet at home sort of speeds? And they're claiming stats. So you can download a whole film off Netflix, such as Roma, in 2 seconds on 5G.
So you're talking over 100 megabytes a second download. Oh my!
We're talking like gigs a second.
Yeah, gigs a second.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay.
It is bonkers, basically.
Would you like a fun fact based off 5G?
Fun fact.
The University of Surrey in Guildford develops most of 5G technology.
Oh, yeah, they have their own little building there, don't they?
They've got the 5G Technology Centre. Brilliant.
That's just
name.
Down the road. Hopefully we might actually get signal there.
Yeah, who knows? I might actually be able to stand in the middle of college and be like, where is the phone signal? But yeah, no, that was just my weird fun fact.
Yeah, it's interesting. Personally, I think I use my phone quite a bit, but often I'm just connected to Wi-Fi all the time. But all these mobile carriers are offering like 50 gigabyte mobile plans or 100 gigabyte data plans. I never get anywhere near that. I think the most I've used is probably 15 gig in a month. And that's probably when I was out. But I know people
that's
travel.
Quite heavy.
Yeah,
Ooh.
people travel. They, sometimes you have to pay for Wi-Fi in places. I understand. So, again, something to keep an eye on. But I think that's coming relatively soon. So keep an eye out for that. You might want to talk about this next one you've popped on the end here, Bale.
Well. Slight tiny bit of gaming news. Obviously, bringing my inner geek very much out. Obviously, Pokemon, just going to say that word. Feels so good. They are finally releasing a main canon game on the Nintendo Switch, which is the first time they've ever put a mainline game on a Nintendo console. and they did the Nintendo like direct announcement thing today, and the hype train is very much real. The hype train is here.
I can see the smile on your face. You are buzzing, aren't you?
Yes. I watched that damn announcement live, and I was just like, yes, please. Shut up and take my money. I've been a fan since the beginning, like literally like 96 to 98 when it was kind of like rumored to come out and everything. And yeah, my child is back. My inner child has come back to me and is like, you need this. I'm like, I do need this. Absolutely no idea when it's coming out. Literally late 2019.
That's all they're giving, is it?
Hopefully it's near my birthday in October, and it's going to be a birthday present for myself from me.
Nice.
So the hype train is weird. It's going to be called Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, so they've gone away from colors, precious gems, back to colors again. Then like Sun and Moon, and now it's like Swords and Shields. So I'm expecting it to be very kind of like Knights of the Round Table kind of themed, which could be quite cool.
Oh.
I'm up for it.
You're going to keep us posted on news from that, I'm sure.
It'd make me interested to get a Switch, I'll be honest. I've been really like kind of carrot in front of the donkey with a Switch for a long time. And I'm just kind of been waiting for either a first gen to get cheap enough or a second gen to kind of 1.2 to come out.
Yeah.
And I think a game like this would kind of tip me over the edge to go, yeah, go on then.
Yep.
Because I didn't like Sun or Moon, and I spent a lot of my university time sitting playing Omega. Am I right in saying Omega, the blue one? The names I'm terrible with. And I loved it. I thought it was really, really good fun. So for a casual like myself in the Pokemon world who dips in and out, yeah, I'd be like, yeah, go on then. I'll get involved.
And that concludes Tech Time with Dev. Yeah.
Oh, Tech News with Dev. Yeah, well, I need to make you a jingle. That's what I need to do.
I feel like we need like a little game jingle as well, because there's always a tiny bit of game.
Yeah,
I'll just voice it myself if it comes to this kind of extreme. Anyways, in case you were asleep, you probably were, because it was on at like 3 a.m. in the morning. Oscars happened.
Ooh.
Yeah, obviously
the big one.
Kind of the biggest event in the film calendar, I would pretty much argue. All the way live from LA at some ungodly hour of the morning over here was obviously the Oscars announcements. Did anyone watch it live?
No.
No.
Some of our audience may have done.
I was very much asleep.
Me too.
So we'll just pick up some sort of highlights. Any sort of anything you thought should have won that didn't, or did win you were surprised by, you two?
I loved Green Book, and a lot of people were debating it, saying it for Best Pictures, kind of like they didn't agree, but I absolutely loved watching it, and a lot of people are looking at it as sort of like a take on bringing up racial, problems at the time. However, I think it's much more. A lot of people, and they said during their speech, it's about the journey between the two characters, and I know that's the way I viewed it, and I loved all of it. So I'm very happy Green Book won. And obviously Bohemian Rhapsody picked up 4 in the end. It picked up the most of the night. I've also seen that Bohemian Rhapsody has been greenlit for or Queen have been greenlit for a TV documentary as well off the back of that Oscar. So
what else are they going to cover?
I don't know. They want, I think people, obviously Bohemian Rhapsody wasn't a documentary. It does tell the tale of their lives, but it's very much narrative driven. This is, by the sounds of it, is going to be a much more historically accurate representation of them, which I think probably what the fans were kind of itching for. So that's probably why it got greenlit, to be fair. I'm sure that'll do very well.
I saw Bohemian Rhapsody over Reading Week, and I thought that more praise should have been given to the person who played Brian May. Whoever that actor is who played Brian May, I swear was Brian May. Because looked like Brian May, had the right hair like Brian May, sounded like Brian May, talked like Brian May, had all the mannerisms of Brian May. I was just like, if this guy, whoever he is, doesn't get Best Supporting Actor, it's an absolute travesty. Because he was Brian May. I'm just surprised that Brian May didn't dye his curly locks and just assume the role of himself as a younger man. But yeah, I thought for me he was the standout performance. Obviously, Rami Malek did a really good job becoming Freddie Mercury. But I mean, overall, I was entertained by it. But I felt like like you were kind of saying, Will, if it was a documentary, like kind of a bit more on the side like Amy maybe, it might have been a bit more kind of like hard hitting and a kind of like a bit more of a kind of interesting watch, as it were.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no, Green Book, I definitely do want to watch.
Oh, it's definitely worth a watch. And another one I want to point out was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, picking up obviously best animated feature, which is awesome. Really happy about that. And I think James mentioned that it was one of the first time in 6 years they had beaten out a Disney film hadn't won.
Oh no, I think it was the first time since 2006 or something.
Oh really? That's
like something ridiculous.
Oh wow, okay.
Because I was really surprised Isle of Dogs didn't get the nod.
Yeah.
With like the kind of Wes Anderson factor. So I was quite surprised by that. Although Pixar did win with best short animation with Bao. So they did win something at least.
Didn't go home empty.
They did not go home empty. But
I
really like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's the Spider-Verse. I finally got around to watching it and I loved the animation style. Really, really good. Much praise. Obviously, the kind of big talking point was obviously Olivia Colman winning for The Favourite for Best Actress. I loved her speech. I thought it was very genuine, very kind of, why am I here and all the famous people are there?
What's that? Cut the speech? Nah.
No. But yeah, no. I thought that was quite like a quite nice, genuine kind of like. Yeah. I don't see myself as a star kind of moment. But now going, I have this big golden statue now that says I am. But no, I haven't seen The Favourite, but I'm pretty sure you have.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, definitely recommend.
Have you, Steve?
Oh, God. I'm terrible this year with the Oscars. The only one I can really chime in on is the documentary feature, being a documentary guy myself, and Free Solo winning. I was actually... I can't talk like I've seen the other ones, but I saw Free Solo and thought it was wicked. So
nice.
It is on Sunday night. Thanks to Ross for heads up. It's on Sunday night on the National Geographic Channel at 8 p.m. if you want to catch Free Solo.
Excellent.
But yeah, I've been so busy the last few weeks watching films besides the film of the week. That's all I've been able to catch. So yeah, no excuses, but that's my excuse.
I think A Star Is Born is next for me to watch.
I haven't seen that either. Yeah. That is also on my list.
I'm definitely going to chime in on that as well.
Yeah, catching Roma on Monday.
Of
course. And then, I'll kind of slowly work my way through it.
I think it was good. It was nice. It was a bit of twisty-turny from what people were expecting, which was really nice. And there wasn't any clean sweeps, was there? You know, I think...
No, it was
quite
quite
often,
even.
We're so used to just seeing a clean sweep go for everything. It feels like nothing else gets a chance.
Like a Lord of the Rings just wins like 16 in a row or something.
It's nice that your film of the week won visual effects.
Yes.
Still would need to see it, unfortunately.
You still haven't seen First Man?
No.
Sorry I fell asleep during it. I apologise for that.
I prioritised Moon.
Disappointing.
But I have a copy of it. I'll watch it. I'll let you know.
Nice. It is still on your list.
It is. That and Overlord. Everything else I've seen.
Well, speaking of films of the week...
Oh, you mean this?
It's time for you boys to review Moon 2009.
I've got my thoughts. I'm gonna let you start, James. I've got my thoughts on it.
I had to watch it in two parts, so I started watching it one night and then finished off the next.
Okay.
I found like quite a nice place to pause it. I'm just like, I'm gonna wait there and then continue. I quite like the concept, the idea behind it, with the whole kind of clone parts. I really enjoyed Sam Rockwell's kind of performance of the role. I really like glue into that. It was kind of weird seeing so many Sam Rockwells on screen at one time.
Yeah,
trying to play like table tennis with each other. I really like that bit where like the fresh Sam Rockwell. I should probably play spoiler alert. Yeah, in case you haven't seen it. So yeah, where obviously fake Sam Rockwell is trying to play table tennis, and then the other Sam Rockwell, who's been there longer, is just like no. It's just quite funny. But otherwise, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was quite thought provoking. Kind of, how would you feel if you met yourself, but then realize you're not yourself?
Yeah,
and it was just quite. I was just kind of
Well, I mean, in terms of, like the problem it was tackling was obviously like sort of energy disaster crisis.
Absolutely.
I
don't know if we could mine the moon.
Yeah, that was quite an interesting perspective, and obviously the sort of lengths that these businesses were going to sort of like achieve some sort of steady income of power.
Yeah.
Also tackles how companies will look at money over being like what's moral. to
Exactly,
do,
yeah.
like,
Absolutely.
So, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, I that was some of the reasons why I really liked it. And I just wanted to, a quick fact I found that I wasn't aware of is that the film was made on a budget of $5 million and it was made in 32 days.
Wow.
That's incredible.
That is very
I know.
fast
Thinking
turnaround.
back to it now, I'm like, wow. I think it stands up now, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not
So
for a decade on.
my kind of thing is like, I'll paint you a little picture. So Interstellar is one of my favourite movies of all time.
I do like
And I saw
Interstellar,
it,
yeah.
what, 2 years ago? 2 years ago Interstellar came out. And say I was at this age I was when I saw Interstellar in 2009 when I saw Moon, I would probably have near enough the same opinions. Yes, Interstellar is a lot more in-depth in regards to its psychology, but I thought for its time, as you mentioned with the soundtrack, phenomenal. It's kind of pop culture of 2009, as you said, with the fuel, is very accurate. And one of the things that I kind of looked into after, which I don't know the YouTube channel that I was looking into, talked about determinism, which I thought was a really interesting thing because I liked the fact that all of Sam Rockwell's characters were slightly different, and I liked that rather than them being identical, and that was kind of the thing they were talking about. And then they read you the definition of determinism. Basically, it says, in philosophy, the theory that all events, including moral choices, are completely determined by previously existing causes. Determinism is usually understood to preclude free will, because it entails that humans cannot act otherwise than they do, which is an interesting thing, basically meaning that the way that they're kind of, the clones, again, spoiler alert, are grown, air quoting, they can all have different kind of psychological opinions of what they think, hence why they, how they deal with stress differently in regards to a punching bag versus the watering of the plants. Their fate is ultimately already decided for them, which is really interesting. And I also found that I was very, very satisfied because one of the things that I don't like about those kind of films is they're like, okay, this is where we are in the world, this is what's going on, but we're only going to show you this timeline of events. We're not going to then kind of let you know how. Do you know when a film ends like that and you're like, I really want to know what it would have been like if, you know, they got home, etc. Again, more spoilers. One of them does go home, and I think within 5 seconds they answer that question for me, and they play a few radio broadcasts of him when he's at home.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. I was like, wow, satisfied, because they show him going into Earth. I think one of the broadcasts basically says, this clone guy, this Sam clone, he's a nutcase. You should be put in like a mental asylum. And if we read a report on BBC News of that happening, we would think the exact same thing. And I was like, that's so
real, isn't it?
Spot on, yeah.
Mm.
Like, rather, like, they could have made a second film when he got back and he told everyone about this, but no, I think them not, humans not believing the whole facade was just perfect.
Yeah,
I loved
sometimes it feels like a film's cut off, almost like they've run out of budget, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, and almost in the anticipation of a second film.
Yeah.
And I think what's quite nice watching it now is that we're so used to expecting like a sequel or a prequel. Getting some sort of like conclusion like that at the end of it is really satisfying.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because these big producers, they know that the franchise is where the money is now, isn't it? So it's quite nice to see. I remember watching it the first time. It was nice to see just start to finish.
Yeah.
You get the experience out of it then, don't you? So.
Only thing to note, which the one thing I didn't like was the I don't know his name, the computer that was on board. Gertie. He was a bit of an anomaly. Not sure why he was wired to do some of those things in regards to helping Sam's character. I think his name was Sam anyway.
His alliances changed.
Yeah, which seemed weird.
His almost like his morals changed, didn't it? So
I thought he would be the antagonist here. And the way he played it was interesting. I didn't really understand why, and as you say, the motives. And the only shot that really kind of made me go wow was the shot when the enforcer, as he's quoted, opens the hatch to reveal the essentially a quote unquote dead older clone, and you don't see his face, you just see the weapon, and I think the weapon is the most important thing, so it doesn't make a difference who's opened the hatch, it's the weapon that's there. I thought that was really interesting because a lot of these brands that do these kind of things don't have faces, like which is it was interesting. It was really cool. I'll give it an 8. Up there at an 8.
Oh wow,
Ooh,
nice.
That's
Yeah.
pretty solid.
What about you, Ben?
Yeah, I tend to. I'd probably go 7.5.
Nice.
For me.
I'm
I
glad.
did-
Oh, it sounds like you both enjoyed it. Though.
I did enjoy it. I mean, I like any space.
Yeah,
thing.
that's why. That's half
I'm
the
a
reason I
space,
picked it.
love space. So yeah, I mean, like Steve was saying, it was kind of it. It's also very like you were saying, where it's still topical now with obviously kind of energy crises and all that kind of thing.
I mean, it's always going to be relevant, isn't
absolutely.
it? I think that's something that a lot of reviewers have picked up on is the things it tackles are philosophies that are pretty much going to be relevant until we figure out, well, it's morals and stuff. It's stuff that's always going to be relevant, really. So, yeah.
It's challenging a different world that is very likely. And again, I'm quoting potentially likely.
Yeah.
That was just quite nice. It's fictional, but at the same time, could very well be,
Yeah.
could have very well been real.
Yeah.
Interesting. I liked it.
I did like it.
Hats off.
Good.
Hats off.
Good
Although
recommendation.
now you said Interstellar, I really want to watch Interstellar again.
But do you know what I mean when I say if I was in that mindset in 2009? Well,
Yeah.
I was 14 in 2009. If I'd have watched it, I'd never have known. But when
Yeah.
I watched Interstellar, I was 19. And I was like, wow, the world could be whatever.
Yeah.
And I think if I was 19 and watched Moon in 2009, I'd be like, this is up there. This is up there, one of the coolest films I've seen. So
Nice. Murph.
Mm.
How many Murphs? So this week we're doing something ever so slightly different with the sort of film of the week. The head of film himself, Mr. Dan McGrath, has challenged all of us to watch a film we all haven't seen.
I feel like you should have played the Apprentice theme tune when you said that.
Yeah, I got a little bit of that vibe.
I don't
Boss
have
man.
that as a jingle. It's probably not copyright free either.
Chunking Express.
Yeah, by Wong Kar-wai.
Yeah, and he's the one who's done Fallen Angels, which our students are covering at the moment. Dan's also playing this to some of his second year students, I think he said. So it'd be nice. We can watch it, give our feedback on it. I've not seen anything to do with this film whatsoever, and I'm going to keep it that way.
I'm also going in blind.
I've seen the trailer. It does look quite interesting.
Okay.
When I watched it, I was like, I wanted to ask Dan when he's like screening it, because I'd like to.
I might pop in.
Use a period of my time, make some notes. But yeah,
yes.
yeah, why not? I'm open to it. Looks
nice.
Good. Looks interesting.
Otherwise, we'll have to do like a group screening session with all of us.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one.
Well, all of us watching something together.
'Cause
Maybe we should do that. We should organise a day each week. We just go back, watch the film, be like, yeah.
We should just get a sound recorder afterwards and just take our thoughts there and then after the film.
I like that. Yeah.
Go, what is this?
So yeah,
Oh,
Chunking
God.
Express, that's the one up for next week's Film of the Week.
It is indeed.
Oldest film of the week so far, 1994. This film.
Ooh.
I think.
94.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
We are pushing the age boundary now. Is what we're doing. So
Chuck it back over to you then, I guess.
Yeah, so that is our film of the week, Chungking Express. Hopefully we will all watch it by this time next week. Otherwise, now it is time for Tune of the Week, the kind of penultimate thing that we chat about, where I basically pick a song that I quite like the sound of and go, hey, everyone should listen to this, it sounds cool. This week I've picked Axwell's song called Nobody Else, which has currently been doing the rounds on Radio 1. It's currently being like pumped out everywhere on there. I heard it a few weeks ago and went, this is quite interesting. I'll look this up later. Totally forgot. Listened to it the other morning in the car on the drive in and went, it's that song again. I like this. What is this song? So looked it up. It's one of Axwell's most recent ones. It's kind of like a very kind of dancey vibe, but I really love the kind of drop and the build and the kind of how they've squidged the vocals in there. If you're looking for something a bit upbeat, you're maybe doing an edit, you want to kind of, get your head in the game. You're just like, I need something with a bit of pace to it. Highly recommend checking this one out.
Yeah, I looked at it today. Pretty good. Yeah. I've added it to my Spotify. I can't say much else.
Like every song of the week.
That is my aim.
There's not one that I haven't added.
Oh, this is good. See, this is my aim, to get approved by Steve.
How long can we, it's like a Snapchat streak, isn't it? It's like, how long can we keep going for?
Your other one, you had another one that was on your list. I probably wouldn't have added that one that we talked about on Monday.
Oh, God.
That one I probably wouldn't have added, but we talked about why.
Yeah.
But
it's too chill.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably, yeah.
That one, that was borderline, but just because of how weird it was, I had to add it, and I've been listening to that a
the
lot.
bagpipes are coming
The
back to me
bagpipes
again.
are back.
Electro bagpipes.
I can hear 'em.
But yeah, it's good enough to make Steve's Spotify So hopefully it's good enough for everyone listening. So yeah, that is Axwell and Nobody Else.
Nice.
That's what it's called. So yeah, give it a listen. We'll put it in the comments everywhere else. Apart from that, that is pretty much it for Where's My Kit Bag this week. You can obviously hit us up on our Instagram and Twitter, which is Steve
at F6 Media Film.
Fantastic. So hit us up on there. If you're not already subscribed on iTunes podcast, do it now if you prefer using that. Otherwise, listen to this on Spotify, SoundCloud, or YouTube. Lovely jubbly. I've been James.
I've been Will.
And I'm Steve.
And this has been Where's My Kit Bag?
Hello again, everyone. Steve here. Thanks for listening to the Where's My Kit Bag podcast. Feel free to drop us a comment about anything you want us to cover in the comment section down below, or hit us up on our new Instagram or Twitter at F6 Media Film, or old school, you can drop us an email at technet@farnborough.ac.uk.